You guys remember how back in May, Bush declared June to be National Homeownership Day? And how Bush was making such a big spiel about how getting everyone to own a home, and that it was the route to independence, and that it was the American dream to own your home, and he wanted to do whatever he could to get more people to own their home, have home ownership, because if you own your home, you're a better neighbor, and all this stuff. Remember how he was saying all that? When you get a home loan, you're required to get loan insurance. If you cannot afford private loan insurance, you can get government insurance. All right, government insurance is itself a loan. And so if you don't qualify for private insurance on a home loan, you then end up paying two loans, okay? One to the home itself and one to the government insurance. Okay? The government insurance, you pay a loan to the government, which will insure your loan to the home, okay? I know, it's a retarded system. That's why we had all this crap. The inevitable result of this illusory security, and I'll bet Bush made the deal even sweeter, was that lenders were lending out subprime loans below the market rate. This, of course, resulted in everyone getting these sweetheart loans and resulted in the bubble. Of course, because any swinging dick can get a loan, any swinging dick does get a loan, and so you have people defaulting like crazy, defaulting not just on the home loans themselves, but on the government insurance. So you are left with a bunch of failed loans that aren't insured at all because of the false security government made it look like it was providing. The bubble was created and popped by government regulation, okay, whatever the hell that is, not because there wasn't enough regulation. I mean, what the fuck is regulation anyway? I mean, it's one of these euphemisms, these weasel words that cloak what is basically theft, and of course government is essentially a giant cloaking device for violent theft, such as the bailout, which is theft from you to irresponsible people. The same thing happened in Japan. Okay, the government controlled Japan Post, gave out all these sweetheart loans, creating a bubble, and then everyone defaulted. Then you had the Japanese economic collapse, disaster, recession, depression, whatever you want to call it. All right, it was the mortgage bubble popped because everyone was giving out sweetheart loans, and then everyone defaulted. Okay, this bailout bill will either raise taxes directly or print a bunch of currency, thereby increasing the national debt and inflation. Either way, you're paying for other people's failure. But the bill also allows for the Secretary of Treasury to buy up any mortgage-related asset he wants, no questions asked. Okay, the Secretary of Treasury and the Chairman of the Federal Reserve can buy any financial asset as long as they inform Congress. So we can sleep easy knowing that their power is limited by Congress, and Congress knowing what they will tell them. Right. This is. Oh God, this is classic. This is just classic government non-answers at work. And of course, the Secretary of Treasury can also buy up any troubled assets he wants. How is troubled defined? Who the hell knows? It's government, okay? Remember eminent domain? This gang has been trying to find ways to control the economy for a long time. They tried it with eminent domain, and they got a big brouhaha. They got a big grassroots resistance. And so did eminent domain go away? No, but it didn't escalate anymore. Okay? And troops are also being deployed domestically. Okay, now why would they do that? Why would troops start being deployed domestically around the country? Could they be expecting resistance that needs to be put down? And if there's going to be resistance that needs to be put down, how would this resistance be put down? Why, the only way government knows how. Hell, it's the only thing government does, with guns. Also, if you read around lately, J.P. Morgan, the Bank of America, and some other bank are buying up these failed banks with the help of government loans, of course, at absolute fire sale prices. Okay, that is the other side of corporate fascism. Okay, the government is one side, but government is such a colossal incompetent that it needs private industry to carry out its commands. This is fascism. Okay, the same thing is already happening with government and defense contractors. All right, government wages all these wars, but government itself couldn't possibly create all the weaponry, couldn't possibly design all the weaponry to fight a war. I mean, because government can't even deliver the mail, right? So it needs to contract these things out. Government couldn't possibly deal with finances, so it needs to contract these things out to J.P. Morgan and the Bank of America, the new nationalized financial system of the United States. Okay? And this is the price of fantasy. Okay, the belief that a gang of thugs with a monopoly on violence, okay, men in funny hats with guns, to whom it is illegal to defend yourself against, could possibly be looking out for your own good is insane. What you call government is a monopoly on certain services, okay, education, roads, whatever, okay, or pseudo-monopoly, or things that you have to do that they say, okay, all enforced through violence. Right? And if you don't think that these monopolies, and they're worse than monopolies, like education's worse than monopoly because you don't even have an opportunity to not get education. You have to pay no matter what. Okay, so try not paying your taxes. If you resist long enough, the guns will come out. This is a cartel. This is a violently enforced cartel. Okay? And this thing that we call the state, but it's really just a bunch of men in funny hats with guns, okay, to whom they claim it is immoral to resist. Okay, they use your morality against you. You want to help the poor, right? Right? You want to help the poor. Well then, you can't oppose a gang having a monopoly on education paid for and attendance forced by violence. Okay? See, they use your desire to be good against you. Okay? We all want to help the poor. We all want to help people who are hungry. We all want to help educate people who are uneducated. We all want people to have, we all want everyone to have a chance to succeed. We don't want people, who, if they don't have health insurance, then they can't get any help if they dislocate their shoulder. All right, we don't want people who are afraid of dying if they can't get a job. Right? We all want the humane society. We all want this, great society. Right? And the idea that without this insanely violent institution, which can't even deliver the mail and is responsible for all the megadeaths in human history, that without this we couldn't provide school or healthcare or economic safety nets is insane, and was a falsehood inflicted upon you during your forced indoctrination in the government-run education camps. Okay, but now the nakedness of state violence is starting to be revealed. Okay, and it is sickening and sad. It is sad to see that ass munchers like Thunderfoot would blame this on too little government. All right, how successfully the sheep rail against each other in the pen.